Hey everyone, this is Mr. Robinson behind the camera. Well, first time for everything. I decided to make a video on my Godzilla collection. Now, it's not much, and I know there are a lot of other people who have bigger Godzilla collections than this. And this isn't even all of them. There's some more stuff I have in the house, and you obviously tell I'm back in LA. But yeah, before I start going over each of the figures individually, just really briefly show that Gauss and Gamera figures I have. Just because I happen to have those, and there was word that there's a new Gamera movie coming out, or in the works, and it's supposed to either go into production or come out next year, so that's exciting that there's going to be a new Gamera movie. I'll put the link to the story in the description so you can check it out, but right now, let's move on to what I have in the Godzilla figures. So, pull up a chair right here. Well, I guess we could start right here. This is a Bandai figure of the 1954 Godzilla. I actually have another one of this in my dorm. This one's up for sale on eBay, so I provide a link for that if you are curious in buying this figure. But yeah, basically it's a spare, and I have another one at my dorm in Santa Cruz. But here's another Godzilla figure. This is a theater exclusive figure that came out at the time of Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. See, it's I don't know what to call this, but it's not the color scheme of the actual costume or suit. See, it's yellow, it has orange spines, like it's about to light up and breathe fire. It's a cool figure. I think I got this at a good price. I don't remember how much, but it wasn't like super expensive. And here's a little a Mothra figure from, it looks like the one from Godzilla vs. Mothra from 1992, but it actually came in a Rebirth of Mothra box, so it's the Mothra in the first half of that movie. Yeah, not too detailed, but it doesn't look horrible. Let me get up on this chair. Sorry, moving the chair right now. Here we have Mogira from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. One of the first Godzilla figures that we got. We, as in me and my brother. This was one of the first ones we got, along with the 1954 Godzilla right there. So, it's pretty cool. Then we have here Titanosaurus from Terror of Mechagodzilla. And we have Baragon. Baragon from Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters, All Out Attack. Pretty cool one. Destroya. This is a figure that, because Destroya was such a cool monster, I wanted for a while. The wings retract, or you can lift them up. You can put them behind his back. Yeah, it's pretty much Destroya. It's pretty cool. Drop in the next figure. This is the Rodan from Godzilla Final Wars. Pretty good condition, not much else to say. Then there's Mothra, this weird bee-like looking Mothra from Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters, All Out Attack. It's pretty cool. This is probably, I mean, honestly, out of all the Mothra figures, this is actually, or Mothra looks, this is probably my least favorite looking design. I can't really explain why, but yeah, I like other designs of Mothra more. Here we have Mechagodzilla from the Showa series, and if you really want to get specific, this is the one from Terror of Mechagodzilla because of the MG2 on its arm. I mean, aside from that, it's the same Mechagodzilla from the first movie. It just has a 2 on its arm. Here we have a figure that's actually not in good shape, Anguirus from Destroy All Monsters. And you can tell it's not in good shape because most of the other horns on his head are missing. That's what happens when you don't take care of your toys and stuff. Here's another Mothra figure, a Rainbow Mothra from Rebirth of Mothra 3. Here we have Jet Jaguar, the big Ultraman ripoff of the Godzilla universe. Jet Jaguar! And not much else to say about Jet Jaguar. Then we have Gigan. You see I have another Gigan figure back there. We'll get to that soon, but yeah, for the longest time I always thought Gigan was blue, because there was a VHS cover art of Godzilla vs. Gigan in which he legitimately was blue, but then when the video games came around and more interpretations showed Gigan to be green. So, oh, this is a cool figure of Gigan as blue, but, eh. Yeah, next we have Fire Rodan from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. This figure, like, now it makes me laugh because, I always think back to James Rolfe's Godzilla-thon. This figure was used, in a Photoshop image where Rodan was taking a shit on Space Mountain. That made me laugh. Here, speaking of Fire Rodan, here's the second incarnation of Mechagodzilla, which the movie this Mechagodzilla came from was the second to last Godzilla movie I ever saw, before seeing all of them. The last one obviously being Final Wars, but I really like this design of Mechagodzilla. Even though, I mean, it doesn't look as intimidating as the first one or even Kiryu. Speaking of Kiryu, here's the Godzilla from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. This one's a little more posable, its tail's rubber, but it also roars. I got this like 10 years ago, so there's an on switch right here. I'm wondering if it still roars. Oh, I thought it crapped out. I thought I recorded the very last time that Godzilla would ever roar again, but, no, I think it still works. Here's a more obscure-looking Gigan. I think this one on other websites is a little more expensive. Again, it's not completely accurate to Gigan's design, but it's a pretty cool, rare Gigan figure. And here we have King Ghidorah from Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah. Giant monsters all-out attack. Its tail stuck in a cord. There we go. This Ghidorah, yeah, there's a little known fact that the original concept for the movie was going to have Godzilla, Anguirus, Varan, and Baragon in the role, but Varan and Anguirus were replaced with Mothra and King Ghidorah, respectively, and apparently the suit maker was so upset by the removal of Varan, his favorite monster, that he incorporated some facial features of Varan into the King Ghidorah suit. Like the little side... Let me put it down here. Drop figures. See, like the little side things right here. That's a characteristic of Varan's head. But, yeah, I mean, that's a great movie that this Ghidorah came from. Here's another figure, the Burning Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Destroya. This is like one of the best Godzilla movies made, or at least that this figure came from. I have another figure like this where Godzilla's all orange, like in that little like second of a scene where Godzilla's on the verge of exploding. So yeah, that's a cool figure. And there we have, here we get into the bigger Godzilla figures, at least in this row. Monster X. You know, over time, this particular figure is kind of worn out to where it can't stand without any support. I mean, let's test it, see. See, like its tail is longer than its feet, so it can't stand upright without support. Let's put this back up here. See, it has to be held on by the Anguirus and Kiryu figures I have. Oh, poor Monster X figure can't stand upright. Getting back here, we have Anguirus from Godzilla Final Wars. For some reason, this is smaller than all the other Final Wars figures I have. Not exactly sure why, or why there's not a bigger. Maybe there is a bigger figure of Anguirus, but I couldn't find it. And if there is, it must be crazy expensive. Here's Kiryu from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. This is my favorite Mechagodzilla design, and Gigan just fell off the thing. And, well, luckily he's next. Yeah, for Kiryu, I want to get that SH Monster Arts figure of Kiryu. You know those figures that are really posable? You can do stop motion animation with them. I want that one of Kiryu, because that one looks fantastic. But, let's go to the figure that fell. This is Gigan. Ooh, nice catch. I hope that caught that on film because I wasn't looking at the screen. But yeah, Gigan from Godzilla Final Wars. This is a really cool Gigan redesign. Man, Gigan is just like my favorite monster. I mean, okay, not my favorite monster, but he's one of the best Godzilla enemies. And ironic that his debut film was not very good. Here we have the last incarnation of Godzilla before the 2014 movie from Godzilla Final Wars. I actually made a little video, a little short movie called The Rebirth of Godzilla that I showed for my 7th grade class project for art school. No, for art class. And yeah, people really seem to like it. I might post it up soon. Maybe closer to the time the new movie comes out, but yeah. It's something that's on my old channel, and so if you want to look at it on my old channel before I move it to this one, go do that. Mecha King Ghidorah. Before you say yes, I do have the Bandai figure of King Ghidorah. It's just not in this room, but yeah. The SH Monster Arts needs to make a Mecha King Ghidorah figure. We have Rainbow Moth. No, not Rainbow Mothra. Fire Mothra. Which I don't understand why they made a figure of this Mothra. I mean, because the Fire Mothra only appears for like 2 seconds in Godzilla Final Wars. Other than that, it's just like regular Mothra, a redesigned version of Mothra from Tokyo SOS. But it's a pretty cool Mothra figure. Like, I think the Millennium Mothra after GMK is my favorite design for Mothra. Speaking of GMK, here we have the one from the Godzilla from Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. That is a mouthful to say, and this camera's heavy. I really love this Godzilla design because, I mean, the giant feet, the blank white eyes, it just makes Godzilla even more scary. And the movie actually was kind of terrifying, at least from the Godzilla terms. Put that there. And now we have Minya. Minya in Final Wars was, I thought, really kind of a waste, and he was like, he didn't really serve much use to the plot until the end, where he kind of became Deus Ex Machina to end the movie. If you saw Final Wars, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It was a sleepwalking Minya. I don't know why. I'm a 23-year-old man who still plays with Godzilla figures. Where's my life come to? Oh, it's fine. Oh! Caught it. Here we have the Buzzsaw Gigan. This is kind of cool, but I prefer this Gigan with the hooks rather than the Buzzsaw one, because I think the Buzzsaws on his hands a little too much for Gigan, I must say. But it's a cool look, and you can tell that the headpiece for Gigan, for each incarnation of Gigan from Final Wars, is different. See, the back of each head, and then the little clamps on his mouth are different for each. Yeah, pretty cool. Put this back here without falling. I'm talking about the Gigan figure not falling and me not falling. Here we have Kaiser Ghidorah, which I'm not even going to attempt to... you know what, I'll take it off. Now, this figure I have like a pet peeve with. And there goes Minya somewhere. Get off this chair. There's Minya right there. But anyway, this Kaiser Ghidorah figure, it's... I got this figure when Godzilla Final Wars was being released in Japan. And as we all know, the Godzilla movies don't come to the United States until a year later. So I got this figure before word was even going out of Godzilla Final Wars coming to America. So I think this was supposed to be a twist, that Ghidorah was supposed to be in Final Wars. I mean, I know it's not the gold King Ghidorah, but it's a Ghidorah. It's got 3 heads, shoots electricity, but I kind of wish I didn't get this figure until I actually saw the movie, Because it would have been a big surprise to see that, hey, Ghidorah in some form is in Final Wars, huh? Rather than just like going through Final Wars, going like, where's Ghidorah? Alright, so here's the second part of my Godzilla collection, in my room, or my brother's room, more like, and all these figures, or most of them, all the figures that are the same size are from this toy set that came out during Godzilla's 50th anniversary. Really quickly, let's start here. We have the same Anguirus figure that was seen out back, except it's gray and has the horns on it. Basically, making this and it's gray, so this could be the Anguirus from Godzilla Raids Again, even though it has the design of the one from Destroy All Monsters and Godzilla vs. Gigan. But hardcore fans probably say that, oh, Godzilla Raids Again. Here we have the Godzilla from Terror of Mechagodzilla. Now, everyone can tell, or at least the fans can tell, it's from Terror of Mechagodzilla because this Godzilla has an angry look to him. He has more angry eyes than the other 70s Godzilla suit, which is actually down there. We'll get to it soon. Here's probably one of my more favorite toys in this collection. The Godzilla from The Return of Godzilla, the only Godzilla movie that has not received a American DVD release. There's some parts where this Godzilla looks scary, and other parts where Godzilla just looks pretty fake. Sorry, zooming in to try to get focus in, because, yeah. Well, moving on. Here we have Rodan from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. It's not Fire Rodan because it's brown, just plain old Rodan before he gets the ability to breathe the fire, or uranium beam, as the video games refer to it as. Here I have Godzilla from Son of Godzilla, probably the goofiest looking Godzilla I've seen, well, I mean, outside of the 70s one, and the only Godzilla design where Haruo Nakajima did not perform Godzilla at a point where he was still suit acting. He was performed by Nakajima sparring. Here we have the Godzilla from Son of Godzilla, one of the more goofier designs next to the 70s one, and the only Godzilla movie that the original suit actor Haruo Nakajima did not perform. Here we have the Godzilla from Son of Godzilla, which is one of the goofier looking Godzillas, next to the 70s one. And this Godzilla is the only Godzilla during Haruo Nakajima's career before he retired where he did not play Godzilla. Instead, he was played by Nakajima's sparring partner in several other Godzilla movies. Mainly because the suit was too big for him to fit in. Next we have, whoa, that almost fell. Another figure, Godzilla 2000, and, excuse the roses. Yeah, there's a picture on my Instagram of this Godzilla with roses on. Yeah, let's take these off. Yeah, I never understood why some of the Godzilla 2000 toys have a head that's different from the movie version. Not really sure why that is, but this is a really nice figure, really big one. See, the tail goes around there. Okay, here we have petals flying all over the place. Here we have the Godzilla from Invasion of the Astro Monster and Ebirah Horror of the Deep, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. A little goofy design. Down here, kind of looking from up here, it looks like Cookie Monster, but I kind of like this Godzilla. Here I have Godzilla Jr. from Godzilla vs. Destroyer, the only time where Godzilla's son actually looks like Godzilla. One thing that kind of bugs me about this figure is that the feet are too close together. Not sure why that is. Maybe it's a design flaw, but yeah, I like this Godzilla Jr. figure. Here we have the Godzilla from Mothra vs. Godzilla and Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Not much else to say about this one. One of the more popular Godzilla designs, since it was recently featured in the SH Monster Arts series. Here we have the Godzilla from Godzilla Raids Again, the second Godzilla movie. And when compared to the first suit, this Godzilla was very much slimmed down to allow Nakajima more movement when fighting Anguirus, or when Godzilla would fight Anguirus in the movie. Only for the next movie, King Kong vs. Godzilla, to have the suit fattened up again. Which, this is one of my favorite Godzilla designs. It looks a little goofy, a little comedic, to fit the tone of King Kong vs. Godzilla, but I always found that this is one of my favorite designs. I'm not exactly sure why, but I really like this design for Godzilla. Then we have the 70s Godzilla, this is mainly from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. And this could either be the 70s Godzilla look or fake Godzilla. Dun dun dun. Yeah, fake Godzilla, because there's Mechagodzilla's armor underneath the skin. If you've seen Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, you know what I'm referring to. Next up, really briefly, we have a small Mothra figure from the Godzilla Pack of Destruction. The other toys are somewhere in that set, but I can't find them at the moment. And we have a Kamacuras that was in a set for Godzilla Final Wars. There's my dog barking in the background if you could hear him. Moving on, here we have Godzilla 2000. Yes, a small Godzilla figure from Godzilla 2000. Different head from this Godzilla. This one is a little more goofy looking in a way. This one's the one used in the movies. More serious looking. I'm kind of surprised how popular this design for Godzilla is in the States, probably because it was the last Godzilla film from Toho to be released in the United States. Here's another small quick figure from the Pack of Destruction, the 1954 Godzilla. Not much else to say. Here's a weird figure, not really weird, but a small mini figure of the Godzilla from the 90s. Not much to say about that one. Here we have King Ghidorah in the set. From the 90s Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Really one of my favorite monster next to Godzilla. Here we have the a black Gigan figure from this 50th anniversary set that all these other figures have been coming from. But this just similar to the Gigan figure that I showed earlier that was blue, except it's black. Really cool Gigan figure. Here we have the Gotengo, a minifigure of the Gotengo from Godzilla Final Wars that came with a Godzilla figure that was from Godzilla Final Wars. It came in a 2-pack. I don't know where that Godzilla figure is now, but it's somewhere. Here we have a bigger Godzilla figure from the 90s, mainly Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. I had one earlier, but I had another one of this, but the paint was faded, like the teeth, you couldn't really see the teeth. And this one is actually a lot better. Now I have Kumanga from the same set that the Kamacuras figure came from, except its jaw is missing and it just looks like a generic spider. Here we have Godzillasaurus from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Kind of a stiff, cheap figure, but it's still designed well. It's got some cool details. Here we have the black Mechagodzilla. Similar to the Mechagodzilla figure I have out there, just painted black. Not much else to say about that. The most used Godzilla look from the Showa series, from Destroy All Monsters to Godzilla vs. Gigan, and the last Godzilla suit that Haruo Nakajima would ever wear. Here we have a Godzilla figure from Tokyo SOS, and I believe this is the same figure used in the Godzilla Rulers of Earth comic series. And you can tell this one's from Tokyo SOS because there's a scar right there on his chest. And in the movie, it's like blended in with his charcoal gray skin, but for the toy's sake, like it's a serious scar. And this is a cool design. Again, one of the bigger Godzilla figures that I have. And last but not least, we have the exploding Godzilla that was in a second of Godzilla vs. Destroyer, mainly when the scientists are talking about the possibility of Godzilla exploding. So yeah, I didn't have time to film a proper outro for this video, but that gave me excuse to reveal that I do have a Godzilla figure from the SH Monster Arts line. The one from the Heisei era, bendable tail, bendable limbs, mouth, it's all kind of cool stuff. And I also have another Godzilla figure from 1954 that's really stiff. It's hanging out in my room in LA, but it's very well detailed. So that's pretty much my Godzilla collection. Stay tuned for more Godzilla related videos in prep for the new movie coming out. So yeah, leave a comment, tell me what you thought of my Godzilla collection, subscribe to my channel for more stuff in the future. Check out my other channel, AlexG8462. You can find links to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr accounts on my YouTube page. Go check me out on letterboxd.com, letterboxd.com, where I have records of all the movies I've seen and keep a diary of the movies I see per day. And if you like what I'm doing, go subscribe to me via Patreon. I have a link in the description box below, and I have a video basically describing what Patreon is and how you can help. So go check that out. Share it with your friends and tell them about me, and remember to know it before you see it. This has been the Cinemas with Mr. Robinson, and I'll see you guys later.